First question, and it's probably the one that most fans want to be asked. Do you think the players of this football club realise we are now in a relegation battle?
They certainly do. I spelt it out in the dressing room after the game. You know, it's been spoken about before that, don't get me wrong. But just actually what it takes to come through a relegation battle. I said the vast majority of these players have signed here, expected the club to stay in the Premier League or be challenging to go back into the Premier League. So my chat after the game was the mentality change that we need at the club to go from a promotion push to a relegation battle is very different. The characteristics, type of player and survival instincts you're going to have to come through that is going to be vital. You know, but we sat down with them on Tuesday and put a little slide together just to make sure how tough it's going to be. We're not going to lie, it's going to be tough. We need 14 wins or the equivalent of to secure safety. So they're in no doubt of what's needed.
When we're in a situation like that, and it's great to hear your answer, when we're in a situation as we are, you need leaders on the pitch as well as off the pitch. It's been well documented that the previous manager said he brought in lots of leaders, but the fans, myself included, aren't seeing any real leadership. Have you earmarked? I mean, people like Joe Allen we know will speak. Ryan will always have spoken, but Ryan's not playing at the moment. Have you earmarked people that might just be able to chivvy the team up if things are going wrong? I mean, Badu and Dye is always trying to get the crowd involved.
I think there's two types of leaders. Ones that lead by example, as you mentioned, a Joe Allen type. You know, he's not as vocal a person and a shouter and someone who's going to pin someone up in a dressing room, but he leads by example in his you know, if he's having a tough time of it, he still affects the game. The distance he covers, the work he does, he gets on with it to play in any position. So that's one type. The other type is the Ryan Shawcross type, who will tell people in no uncertain terms what's needed, what's missing, what they are doing, what they aren't doing. We haven't got enough of them. We have got enough to survive. You might not believe that, but we have. I feel we have. We've got a lot that lead by example, maybe not enough that lead in terms of the real sort of captain, sort of scream and shout, and you're not asking people to do something, you're telling them, and in an aggressive way. That's got to be done at times. Probably not seen enough fallout in the dressing room at half time and full time for me, from what I'm used to as a player. You know, and I've come through my coaching. I've seen it in youth teams, I've seen it in 23s, I've seen it in first team environment. Far too little in terms of people getting upset with each other, getting it sorted in the dressing room, going out, doing it, and then having a beer or a drink afterwards, shake hands, and it's forgotten about. It can't be a personal issue, can't take it beyond that. It's got to be sorted on the day. It's happened hundreds and thousands of times in football that I've known and seen, and very rarely is it carried on to become a personal issue.
When you talk about the team and leaders, it's also well known that losing continues, it becomes a habit, as does winning. But there's a great lack of confidence, which is understandable, and sometimes that lack of confidence can be misconstrued by fans as not trying. I mean, I know you won't pick anybody who doesn't try, but the fans, particularly, there's about 2,500 going to Barnsley, which is fantastic given the position we're in. You know, you've had those fans support you. How important can they be at the weekend?
They're absolutely vital. You know, I've seen them pull us through games. You know, since I left the club, I'd come back and watch, and I'd see them, you know, play some great football, get behind it, and still make it a horrible place, even though the football had changed a little bit for the better. But they still made it a horrible place to come here. That said, away fans are unbelievable. The numbers they're travelling, again, you know, I know there's over 2,500 going to make it up to Barnsley. do the team deserve it? Probably not, but it just shows what a fan base we've got here. In the time I've been back at the club, I can't remember them not getting behind us away and making a real impact in terms of. But there's not been enough on the pitch, so it's going to be vital. Again, I'm sure they're not daft. That I've got to reiterate that we're in a relegation battle. We need every player and every fan behind us to make sure we get out of it.
Barnsley will be up for the game. They know it's as important for them as it is for us. How do you set about making that first 5-10 minutes go the way that we need it so that we're on top? Because against West Brom we were very flat, weren't we?
Exactly. And we don't set out to start a game like that. I think I'll allude back to what you mentioned before in terms of the confidence. It takes a bit of confidence to quickly go and get a ball from them that's gone for a throw-in or a goal kick or a free kick and get it and play forward and make them defend. I think it's vital that we make opposition defend. I think we make it too easy sometimes for teams to go after us, put us under pressure, nick things, and then the confidence, as you said, you do see diminish in certain players, and where we are in the league doesn't help. It go straight away. You go back to thinking, oh, here we go again. So we have to start the game better than we have done. Especially, I can only talk about the West Brom game. It was nowhere near what we'd set out to do. And it's disappointing, frustrating. But I do understand sometimes why it does. Again, confidence-wise, we need to get the players built up to a position and playing on the pitch where they can build a little bit of confidence.
Most of the fans are sick of hearing all the sound bites from players saying we know we're in a battle, we've got to do better, we need to do this, we need to do this. The problem now is, of course, this Saturday everybody will see as the most important game because it's the next game, but we then have a 2-week break and there may be a new manager in position. How has it affected you and the players this week, if at all, with all the speculation about the new manager?
You hear about it. I'm not going to lie, but the sole focus has to be on the next game. That was West Brom. We weren't good enough as a team, including the staff in that. But we have to make sure that we focus solely on Barnsley on Saturday, as you mentioned. We've got 2,500 fans making the trip up there, and I implore them to get behind us. If we don't, at the final whistle, you can give us whatever you want in terms of the result dependent, but it's vitally important that we don't look beyond what's going on off the field. We need to concentrate fully. Had a great day in training today, but we've said that numerous times. We have to bring that into the game, and I know people are sick of that, but again, confidence thing. You go out, it's easy in front of nobody watching, but we've got to make sure that we go to Barnsley to win a game of football.
How are we on the injury front?
Yeah, there's a couple came through. We've had to dip them in and out of training today. I haven't met with the medical staff yet to get a definitive answer on a couple of those. I can't give any secrets away at the minute, but there's 2 or 3 should be back in contention as long as they've come through today. Okay, I had to shoot up here straight after, so we had 3 of the 4 injured train today, get through it, and we'll see how they react to that.
Given that you've been standing on the sidelines and you've been part of the management team for quite a while, how are you finding it now that you and Kevin and Andy are sort of in joint charge? Have you found it more difficult than you expected?
It's hard. You can have your opinion as a coach on the team, but when you have to nail yourself to the cross, as it were, and put it out there, it is tough because you go home, think you've made your mind up, and every other formation and player goes through your head. You look back to West Brom, there was probably one change that I maybe could have made for the personnel available, but that change ended up, he wasn't feeling very well at the end of the game, so I'd have been caught out there as well with the little bit of bad luck we had. So yeah, it's tough, but I'm ambitious myself. I've come from the under 14s and from 7 years now up until the first team. I've never thought I've jumped ahead of myself once, and I don't feel like that now. It's the crux of where you want to be as a coach or a manager. You want to be out there and be the one, but I've enjoyed it in the short term that I've had it so far.
Looking forward then, it's not put you off a managerial job in the future, so do you think your hair will go much more grey? I'm not that you've got
Jeez, Ange.
But do you think it won't bother you, and you'll want to be a manager in the future, maybe at this club or somewhere else?
Yeah, again, that's not to be discussed today. In terms, I want my focus and my staff's focus and the players' focus to be on Saturday's game at Barnsley. We've got to go. As daft as it sounds, we've got to go to Barnsley and win a game of football. Sounds easy, difficult. It's going to be a difficult game.
The last one from me. You've been involved with this football club from day one, when you had the bad experience and you had the leg injury, and the club have supported you. The club do a lot in the local community. They do a lot at the Louise. It's important for most people in Stoke-on-Trent, people who work here and beyond. Can you get that feeling over to the current lot of players? Because obviously football's changed, there's a lot more money in it than when you played, but it's really important that these players now step up for the local people.
It is. I've mentioned it, that what this club's built on. Hard work, desire, passion. It's what the club's built on, it's what the city's built on. And if they don't know that, why would they come to the football club? I think the first thing you do when you join a football club, or there's rumours, or the talk start, is you find out a little bit of history about not only the football club but the city. They're in no doubt of what it means. We've got a workforce that are 95% from the area. The kit ladies and the kit men, the cleaners, everyone down at the training ground, which is the crux of day-to-day contact that the players have, are from the area. And the last thing the team want to be doing is letting them down, letting people down, people losing jobs. Because if the club gets relegated, that's what's going to happen. It's going to go from the top to the bottom. People are going to lose jobs. That includes players and staff. So the team and ourselves have got to take that into account when we go out onto a football pitch. Then you go on to what it means to the area and surround the fans. 2,500 after the string of results we've put together shows how much the city cares about the football club. And again, you're probably bored of hearing it, but we need to give them something back, and quickly.
Thank you, good luck.
Cheers.
A few years ago I spoke to you, and you made a comment about Tony Pulis, and you said that the thing about Tony Pulis was he always seemed to know what was going on. If a player was having troubles or was up to something, he always seemed to know what was going on. There seemed to be he had a network of people. He almost had like a mini empire or something like this. So when we talk about Stoke needs a new manager, is it not that we need a new manager, we need a new sort of empire, a new regime behind the scenes? And is that possible at a club like Stoke now in these days?
It was a simpler world back then, I think. I think the way you find out about things now, usually the first sign is social media. Like, people can't do anything without displaying it to everyone. So it has changed, but I get where you're coming from. I think the next appointment, we'll have to have that kind of. But I think any manager that's successful will have that about them, that will know where the players are, they'll know what's going on, they'll know what staff members, they'll know what's going on in the club, the city, again the local area. They'll have people out there that report directly to them, and you can call it a mole or whatever, but every successful manager's had them. You look back in time, you couldn't get away with anything. But it builds to successful because creates a little bit of a. I'm not going to say scared, but you've got a little bit of a. Right, if I go there, he's going to know about it. You know, you've got to be on your toes.
Yeah, interesting. Thanks.
All right.
I think Thomas.
Rory, apologies if we were in late, so apologies if I repeat yourself.
Go on.
IFA and Stoke are talking about the possibility of Michael ONeill taking over. Do you feel that that would be a good fit for this football club?
It's the first I've heard, to be honest. So you know, I've literally come off the training pitch this morning, had my dinner and come up here. So that's the first I've heard. Listen, my focus is on Saturday's game at Barnsley, getting a win, preparing a team, and picking a team, a formation, and a style of play. We're going to go up to Barnsley and win the football match.
Are you fully confident that you will be in charge and that a new manager won't be in?
I haven't been told any different, so I have to assume that we'll be taking the game on Saturday.
What have you made of Michael's managerial career so far?
He's been very successful with you know, obviously Shamrock, and then going into a big job, Northern Ireland. He's done really well for them and got them success that probably they never thought they'd end up with. But again, you know, can't reiterate enough that it's not a worry of mine at this particular time. I've got enough on my plate to prepare a team to win a game of football on Saturday.